Everyone says Leos love attention. They're half right. Leos don't love attention. They're addicted to it. And like any addiction, they simultaneously crave it and hate it. I've worked with Leo placements for 8 years. What I'm about to tell you will flip everything you think you know about this sign. Leos don't perform because they love the spotlight. They perform because without it, they don't know who they are. Stay until the end. The reason Leos hate attention is darker than you think. Let's start with what everyone sees. The Leo walks into a room and becomes the center of it. They're charismatic, confident, magnetic. They tell stories that captivate. They make people laugh. They seem like they were born for the stage. And everyone assumes this means Leos love attention. But watch closely. Watch what happens after the performance. When the room quiets down, when people stop looking, the Leo deflates. The energy drops. The confidence cracks. Because here's what nobody tells you. The Leo wasn't enjoying the attention. They were surviving it. Here's the paradox. Leos need attention the way humans need oxygen. But they also resent needing it. Because needing attention means you're not enough on your own. It means your sense of self depends on external validation. And for Leo, who's supposed to be the confident one, the leader, the king, admitting they need validation feels like weakness. So they perform. They shine. They dominate every room they enter. Not because they want to, because they have to. Because if they don't, if they let someone else have the spotlight for even a moment, the terrifying question comes up. Without attention, who am I? Let me break down the 3 stages of Leo's attention addiction. Stage 1. The performance high. This is what people see. The Leo is on. They're funny, charming, engaging. Everyone's looking at them. Everyone's laughing at their jokes. Everyone's impressed. And in that moment, the Leo feels alive. They feel real. They feel like they matter. This stage is intoxicating. It's why Leos keep coming back to it. But it doesn't last. Stage 2. The validation crash. The party ends. The audience leaves. The spotlight turns off. And suddenly the Leo is alone with themselves. And without the external validation, without people reflecting their worth back to them, they feel empty, hollow, anxious. They immediately start planning the next performance, the next party, the next moment where they can feel alive again. Because sitting with themselves without attention feels unbearable. This is the stage nobody sees. This is where the addiction reveals itself. Stage 3. The resentment. Over time, the Leo starts to hate the cycle. They hate that they need attention. They hate that they can't just exist without performing. They hate that their self-worth is tied to how many people are looking at them. And they especially hate that people think they're shallow or narcissistic for needing attention. Because they don't want to need it. They wish they could just be confident on their own. But they never learned how. So they keep performing. Keep seeking validation. Keep resenting themselves for needing it. This is the Leo paradox. They hate attention because they need it. And they need it because they hate themselves without it. Let me tell you about a Leo, the first new named David. David was the life of every party. Everyone loved him. He was confident, charismatic, successful. But I got close enough to see what happened when the party ended. David would go home and spiral. He'd scroll through social media checking how many likes his posts got. He'd replay conversations wondering if people really liked him or just tolerated him. He'd plan his next event, his next performance, his next chance to feel real. One night he told me something I'll never forget. He said, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from always being on. But if I'm not on, I disappear. And that's scarier than being exhausted. That's when I understood. Leo's confidence isn't real confidence. It's performed confidence. Real confidence doesn't need an audience. Real confidence exists in the quiet moments when nobody's watching. But Leo never developed that. Because from a very young age, Leo learned that their value came from being special. From being seen. From being admired. Maybe they had a parent who only praised them when they achieved something impressive. Maybe they grew up in an environment where love was conditional on performance. Whatever the origin, the message was clear. You matter when you shine. You disappear when you don't. Here's the psychology behind it. Leo is a fire sign ruled by the sun. The sun is the center of the solar system. Everything revolves around it. And Leo internalized this. They believe they're supposed to be the center. But here's the problem. Being the center isn't a personality. It's a position. And positions are unstable. You can lose them. Someone brighter can come along. Someone funnier. Someone more impressive. And if your entire identity is based on being the center, losing that position means losing yourself. This is why Leos react so strongly to being ignored or overshadowed. It's not ego. It's existential terror. The tragedy of Leo is this. The more attention they get, the more they need. Because external validation never fills the internal void. It's like drinking salt water. It temporarily satisfies but ultimately makes you thirstier. So the Leo performs bigger, tries harder, becomes more dramatic, more entertaining, more impressive, hoping that if they just get enough attention, it will finally feel like enough. But it never does. Because the problem isn't the amount of attention. The problem is that they're looking outside for something that can only be built inside. And here's the cruelest part. People judge Leos for this. They call them narcissists, attention seekers, drama queens. But what they don't see is the pain underneath. The Leo isn't seeking attention because they think they're better than everyone. They're seeking attention because they're terrified of being nothing. They're not performing because they love themselves. They're performing because they don't know how to love themselves without an audience. So what can a Leo do? First, recognize the pattern. You're not confident. You're performing confidence. And there's a difference. Real confidence whispers. Performed confidence shouts. Start noticing when you're performing versus when you're actually present. Second, practice being alone without distraction. No social media. No planning the next event. Just you sitting with yourself. It will be uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is where the work begins. Third, build internal validation. Every day, write down 3 things you appreciate about yourself that have nothing to do with other people's opinions. Not I'm funny because people laugh, but I'm kind. I'm curious. I'm resilient. Rebuild your sense of self from the inside out. Fourth, therapy. Specifically, work on attachment and self-worth. Because Leo's need for attention usually traces back to childhood patterns of conditional love. And if you love a Leo, here's what you need to understand. When they're performing, they're not being fake. They're being desperate. When they dominate the conversation, they're not being selfish. They're being scared. When they get hurt by being ignored, they're not being dramatic. They're being triggered. Your Leo needs reassurance that they matter even when they're not shining. That you see them in the quiet moments. That their value isn't tied to their performance. Tell them you love them when they're boring. When they're tired. When they're not on. That's the medicine they actually need. Leo doesn't love attention. Leo is terrified of invisibility. And once you see that fear, the whole attention-seeking behavior makes sense. It's not vanity. It's survival. It's a child who learned that love is conditional, trying to earn it over and over again. Are you a Leo? When did you first learn that you had to perform to be loved? Can you remember a moment when being yourself wasn't enough? Or do you love a Leo and finally understand why they need so much validation? Comment below. I want to hear your story. Next video we're talking about Virgo. And the title is, Virgos aren't perfectionists, they're controllers. The difference will blow your mind. Click right there.